says you're live. So we're starting this live early just to make sure everything is set up properly, make sure I'm connected. Got my beautiful wife over there in the corner. Actually, I think I'm gonna turn it that way so we can see you, baby.
I don't need to be seen.
Okay. Now you didn't get a notification that I just went live?
I wasn't watching it.
Okay, it shows you at the top the number of participants.
Did the system ask for a start time?
Hmm. Still nothing?
Oh no, but you know what? I was just looking at this other person. Did they send you a link or something?
No, they don't need a link.
I'm on your channel. Oh, I see you.
Yeah.
Live streams. But
That's old. I'm
Oh,
wondering.
here it is. My first live ever. Let me sign in. Oh. I see you.
Yeah, but that's weird. I figured you should have been notified.
Only mode is on. Only members of this channel can send messages. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because I just turned that on, members only mode. But I didn't need to turn that on because it's only going out to members.
Mm.
All right, now it says 2 participants. I'm assuming that's you.
Yeah.
It's to show you. It just shows me. Oh, no, there you go. Hello, honey.
That's the additional that gave you my phone holder.
You just remember what?
That I gave you my phone holder.
Your phone holder. Oh, you want it?
I'm fine. No, leave it. You need it.
No, I don't need it. I'm still wondering why you didn't get notified. Like, you shouldn't have to go search for it. If you swipe down, nothing's there.
I never know how to get to that section.
Swipe down from the top. I'm just talking about for your notifications, not in that app.
This breeze. I said this breeze.
It's good, right?
It's a real delay. I'm watching you move over here.
That's good.
No, I'm watching you move when you set the
Yeah,
camera.
no. That's good. There should be a good delay. I don't know why. I'm saying it's good, but it's fine, I meant to say. Oh, yeah. So good. See, but now it's just a big thing of ice in there, whatever that is. I can let that melt. Ah.
See, I just saw you pick up the cup.
Did you give me a like?
I sure did.
Thank you. Let that melt some more. Here we go.
I'm trying to bring up your channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I go right there it says live. So, but it's not going to send me a notification. I understand that. Why does the participation thing keep changing from 1 to 2?
So it's counting you and it's counting me?
You better switch to 1 and now it's back to 2.
Oh, maybe because I switched a little while ago to the other one. I just wanted to see what it was saying on your old video. Did you have it? I didn't know you had a video.
Yeah, I did a test one.
Hmm. What's that?
Oh, because I got the volume up.
Feedback.
Okay, it says 4 now. Jamal, what is up, buddy? What is up? I'm just waiting for some more people to come on. Good to have you here. We'll give them to, you tell me how long we should give them to. It is 8:04 now. No, you're exactly the right one to ask, Jamal. You're exactly the right one to ask. Former military, when you're early, you're on time, and when you're on time, you're late. So I feel the same way, brother. I feel the same way. And that's my beautiful wife sitting over here.
Hi, Jamal.
Jamal, again, I want to thank you for being a V.I.Preloader. Really appreciate it. Former military, what branch? Army. Okay. Yeah, I got actually a lot of my neighbors are Army. My buddy across the street, Aaron, he's Army. My buddy Kevin, he's Army. My buddy Walter, his wife is Army. So I live in a military town. So good stuff. Thank you for your service. You almost beat me to it, baby. It says here that there's 4 people, but I don't, you know. So you know what, Jamal? If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them. Since you're here, you can definitely get first crack at it, or whatever. Question, comments, whatever you got.
Ask him the questions. How does he rate himself?
Hmm?
Ask him how does he rate himself? What's he writing?
Also, when you get a chance, Jamal, let me know what kind of motorcycle you're riding, how long you've been riding, and how you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best in slow speed motorcycle operation. Well, why do you assume that you were successful? Because you made it home? Because you made it home. That's what I thought you were going to say. Listen, every time we go out, we're practicing, right? So that's cool. I just saw somebody say that they tried to find the live video. Okay. But they're not a V.I.Preloader. All right, so now I have a V.I.Preloader emailing me. He said he can't find the live questions answers. Oh, yes, the M109R Boss since 2009. Nice. Really, it sat in the garage for a few years. Wow. That's big, man. If you get an opportunity, Jamal, and you can record yourself practicing on that, I'm curious to see that, because so far I've seen 3 people on an M109. I think it's 3. We got Rich in Florida, my boy Kevin, and oh man, I forgot the other guy's name, but he's from South Carolina. And they're all pretty good on that M109, pretty good. So they're great examples of, you know, what I always say, which is, you know, the techniques that I'm talking about apply to every motorcycle, right? And that motorcycle is, yeah, it's a fighter too, with that big rear tire in the back. It doesn't want to really lean, but I clearly see it can be done. So that's impressive. I'm glad to see that you're out there now. You said you were practicing trail braking. Are you practicing any slow speed stuff? That's the question I have for you. And if so, when's the last time you did it? So my wife just said, "What is trail braking?" And basically what that is when you're in a turn, you're kind of dragging the front brake. You're not dragging it, but you're grabbing on the front brake to slow your motorcycle down slightly, bring the weight down onto the front of the motorcycle, and it's going to help you turn a little easier. That's all it is, really. Trail braking.
It all sounds very dangerous.
No, it's not dangerous at all. Remember, if you're not doing anything herky jerky, you're fine. And you can clearly, if you're going at a certain speed and you're in a turn, when I say a certain speed, I'm talking about above slow speed operation. You're not going to be using the rear brake at that point. You're going to be using the front brake, and Okay. And that's awesome, Jamal. Because you know what? That's really awesome, because that's really primarily what this is all about, is building confidence. So I'm very happy that this channel was able to get you to go in that garage and take that motorcycle out. That's a huge accomplishment, especially since you say it was sitting in there for years. I mean, years. Did you have it on the battery tender? I hope so. Now, my question is, it's a 2014. You said it was sitting in the garage for years. So what year did you buy this motorcycle? And also, I know my videos aren't short, so if you were binge watching, that's pretty good. That's a lot. If you binge watch my videos, you got to have some time. Bought it in 2015. Okay. And when you first bought it, had you ridden, like, what's the first motorcycle you rode? Like, how long have you been riding a motorcycle? I guess that's the question. There you go, Lenny. How you doing, buddy? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Lenny, thank you for being a V.I.Preloader. I know I said that to you before, but really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. And I'm definitely glad you found the channel. So Lenny, I do have your question locked and loaded. Of course, if you have any other questions, you can feel free to type it in. I'm going to go to your question right now, Lenny. Okay. All right. You got it, Lenny. So Jamal, what made you, I'm sorry. So that M109, I know you like the way it looked, and I know you like the way it sounded. So I guess my question is, did you ride that motorcycle before you purchased it? And thank you, honey. Because that's, I know if you buy Harley Davidson or whatever, you can actually test ride their motorcycles, but a lot of people don't let you test ride their motorcycles. So I'm curious if you test rode that motorcycle, because let me tell you something. I got on that M109, and I mean, I pulled that throttle. That thing is meant to just go straight. It really is. So I definitely, I give kudos to the guys that show up for the practice sessions on those M109s, making those tight turns. That's good stuff. All right, what do I have here from my friend Lenny from Canada? Okay. Lenny says, when doing the snowman, now I want to make sure I'm clear with this. Okay, yeah, of course. And upgrades are always tempting, always tempting. All right, Lenny, you said when doing the snowman or doing a U-turn, how do you know whether to keep the bike upright or how much to lean when using the clutch back brake? So if I'm understanding this question, Lenny, how do you know whether to keep the bike upright or how much to lean it? So that's going to depend on how wide the U-turn is. So if you remember my video I did about not having to lean the motorcycle at all to make a U-turn, that was 27 feet wide. So if we, and even in that 27 feet, like I wasn't just making it, I still had room. But let's say we shrink that 27 feet to 20 feet. So remember, three things are going to determine the radius of your turn: how fast you're going, how much you turn your handlebars, and how much you lean the motorcycle. So we can go back to what I was saying in that video, which is I said in that video, within 27 feet, you don't have to lean the motorcycle, and you also don't have to lock the handlebars. So I guess you'd have to you'd have to actually duck walk your motorcycle to test it out. I'm giving you permission to duck walk it to test it out. And what I mean by that is lock the handlebars all the way and then walk it and see how much space your motorcycle can make a U-turn straight up. And that's for you mentally. So you'll know. And as you practice, even when you're out in the street, you'll be able to look at something and you'll be able to know if you can make a U-turn in that space straight up, or if you're going to have to lock the handlebars and be straight up, or if you're going to have to incorporate lean. So, all right, Lenny, remind me, what kind of motorcycle are you riding? And I'm also going to ask you, how long have you been riding a motorcycle and how you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best in slow speed motorcycle operation? And Kareem, you bought that motorcycle. After you bought it, I want to know how much time passed between the time you bought it and the time you said, I'm not riding this thing. Because I mean, I'm very flattered to know that that's the reason you got the motorcycle out of there from watching me ride. Street glide. Very good. 48 years. All right. All right. And the rating. Okay. Okay. So you and Jamal are pretty much in the same ballpark as far as your rating for yourself, which is a 3. So that's good. Okay, that's good. So, do you make any are you making any U-turns? Are you out there practicing? And if so, how many feet are you making the U-turns within? Can you do it within 3 parking spaces? That's the question. Can you do it within 27 feet? $27 yes. Okay. And are you trying to do it, like, are you trying to make your U-turns tighter, or are you fine with that? Because really that's, my opinion is that's fine, unless this is something that you just want to do. You want to, be able to make very, very tight U-turns. If that's not your goal, then you're already where you need to be. Oh, okay, okay. So Jamal, you didn't stop riding because of the fear of the motorcycle initially. It was because, all right, that you had a surgery. Okay, very good. And when it comes to, I don't know if you answered this, Jamal. Are you doing any slow speed practicing? Okay. All right. So I guess the next question, Lenny, is, you said within 27 feet. That's what you're doing. Are you just making it, or are you making, you know what I mean? Are you at 25 feet, 26, 24? Like, where do you think you're at approximately? Ah, I mean, you're not using the front brake while you're making a U-turn, are you? I mean, it's not a big deal. You make the U-turn and then you put the kickstand down and you do 10 push-ups. Okay. So if you're going very slow, um, and you're using slight pressure on the rear brake, well, the other question I still need to know is where do you think you're at in the U-turn? Are you at 25 feet? Are you at 24 feet? Are you at 26 feet? He said push-ups, LOL. Okay, so using the parking spaces full 27 feet, that means, and I'm assuming you're not using cones. So that means you're going from line to line 27 feet, correct? And I'm assuming that your goal is you want to do it in 2 parking spaces, correct? Okay, so um, clearly we don't want to put the cart before the horse. So if you're at 27 feet and you want to get down to 18 feet, you tell me what needs to be done to get there from 27 feet to 18 feet. What needs to be done? What do you need to do to get there? Okay, good, Jamal. Good. So where are you at, Jamal, in the U-turn? How many feet? Okay, so you're right, Lenny. Definitely practice. Practice is always the answer to all of this. But what specifically do you need to practice? And the answer is, like I said, only 3 things are going to determine the radius of your turn. So if you're going slow enough, that means that that's not it. So the other 2 things have to come into play, which is you have to turn those handlebars more and you have to lean the motorcycle. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You have to do that. So how much do you think you're leaning? Because I'm gonna say if you're making that U-turn and you're just making it within 27 feet, you definitely don't have the handlebars turned all the way, and you're definitely not leaning all the way. Because if you duck walk your motorcycle, if you go all the way to the line on the right side, if you're making a left turn, and you keep the bike straight up, lock those handlebars, and just walk it in that U-turn, you're not going to just make 27 feet. You're going to be well within that. So that means that when you're making this turn, you're not turning the handlebars enough. And if you are turning them enough, you're not keeping them turned. Remember, I always say you have to, whatever you do, you have to do it consistently. So when you make that turn the handlebars and hold them there, right? It doesn't have to be a full lock. And this is if you're straight up and down. Also, when you make that turn, you have to make the turn right from that line. Like some people, they start making the turn like this, and that's just taking away space. You want to make the turn like this, not like this, like this. Well, Jamal, that's, believe it or not, that's not odd. I'm the same way, and a lot of people are that way. The left turns are just easier for whatever reason. It's still that way to me. If you ever see me make a right U-turn or anything going to the right, but definitely something where I have to lean. It might look smooth, but I mean, I'm concentrating so much. That's one of the things I do like about it. It forces me to concentrate and not get complacent. My left turns, I don't even have to think twice. It's just, it's no big deal at all. But those right turns, I even went through the whole thing of, all right, let me make more right turns than I do left turns if I can. If I'm out there practicing, if I make 3 left turns, I'm going to make 6 right turns. I feel like it doesn't matter how much I practice it. It's just always something I have to. It's never going to be as easy as left turns. I've come to that determination. Doesn't mean I'm going to discontinue practicing at it more. But I think at this point, it's drilled into my head now. So now, it is what it is. So I practice. So here's the funny thing about that question. I've gone out and rode my motorcycle this week, maybe 3 times, 3 or 4 times. And believe it or not, that's a lot for me, because a lot of the times if I'm going to make a run and go somewhere, I look at my driveway and I'd say, you know what, if I take a car, it'll be quick for me to just go do it and come back. And I can wear whatever I want. But, if you want to take a motorcycle out, you got to, have to put on pants and, all this other stuff, move cars out of the way to get the motorcycles out. But this week, for whatever reason, I just wanted to ride. And definitely because of the new Limited, I want to get some miles on that. And I'm starting to enjoy that Limited a lot. It feels really good. So, but when I did go out, I went to Harley-Davidson. When I got to Harley-Davidson, I did some U-turns and some figure eights in that parking lot. I came back home. I was going to do a video and I needed some blue Loctite. So I rode to Lowe's. I did some U-turns and figure eights in that parking lot. So I'm going to say I practice about 3 times a week. And that includes the practice sessions with you guys. And if I rode more, I would practice more, because every time I go out to ride, I'm practicing. Okay.
Snake.
So you know what I'm going to do, guys? I did have some other people that sent me questions, so I'm just going to read their questions. This is from Lone Star. And his question was, what are your thoughts on starter motorcycles for first-time riders? Now, the funny thing about this question is I say often that there really aren't a lot of absolutes, right? There's not a lot of things that are concrete. The answer to a lot of questions as it pertains to motorcycles is it depends, right? So there are people, I'm one of them, that learned how to ride a motorcycle on a heavy motorcycle. And I learned on the Road King. And it's like anything else. If I remember people saying that when you start to drive a car, you should learn how to drive in a small car because it's going to be easier. I mean, the truth of the matter is you can get used to anything. So if you start on a larger motorcycle, and this depends on other factors too, your size, your strength and all of that stuff, even though once you learn the techniques, none of those things really matter, right? They really don't. So my answer to that question is whatever you're most comfortable with, right? You're going to be nervous as a first-time rider on anything you get on. Will you be less nervous or less intimidated with a lighter motorcycle? Of course you will. But if you get trained properly from the beginning, all right, and if you practice, like you have to practice more, you're going to start forgetting about the weight. That's why I always tell people, once you tell me your motorcycle's weight, I don't want to hear it again because I don't want you to think it. And if you're thinking it, I definitely don't want you to say it because then you just start mind screwing yourself and all you can focus on is the weight. And what I really want you to focus on is the technique. So my answer is, if you feel like you can't get over, sometimes taking that motorcycle off of the kickstand is like, whoa. And truth be told, when I first took the Limited off of the kickstand, I remember I said to myself, whoa. But as soon as I thought that, I immediately erased it and went out and started doing some stuff because I have to remember, Robert, it doesn't matter. Stick to the techniques. Okay, which is like the 19 Street Glide with a purple haze. I'm gonna say right now I like my Street Glide better. However, when I'm going out with the Queen, then of course I'm gonna like the Limited better because she's way more comfortable in it. And I have to tell you, I thought that, you know, based on what these people at Harley Davidson told me, that I basically just have a Street Glide with some extra stuff on it. It does not feel like a Street Glide at all. And yes, it's a plusher seat or whatever, but it's more than just the seat. So the more I ride that bike, yes, I am liking it. I'm liking it a lot, actually. I'm going to like it even more after I get these lights off of it, or change the lights, and add lights and do something with that exhaust. And the stereo system's horrendous, so I definitely have to do something with that. But yeah, right now it's definitely my Street Glide. And plus my Street Glide has a stage 3, so it sounds better, it's faster. And on one of my last rides, I realized, you know, as time goes by, you start forgetting about stuff. But I realized the difference between the power in my Street Glide versus this Limited and versus the Road King. It's not even close. So, perhaps I'll be changing the shocks, because here's the thing. I say to if I change those shocks and then I ask my wife, honey, you feel a difference? She's going to say no. So yeah, I know how she is. I asked her when she got up, did you feel comfortable? She said yes. I might still change them anyway, because there's no doubt about the fact that if I put some Olean shocks on there, it's going to be leaps and bounds better than what's on there now. So my answer is most likely. Okay. So Miss Jenny sent me this question. She told me that she just purchased the Insta360 One X2 camera, along with the motorcycle mount, the motorcycle mount package, and the invisible selfie stick. And her question is, how long do the batteries usually last? She's going to be learning this camera and taking it to Sturgis for vacation, and she would like to capture some of the awesome views. Yeah, you're going to get some good views on that, Miss Jenny. So my answer to that is that the battery in this camera definitely lasts longer than my GoPro Hero 9. Definitely. Like when I'm recording with my GoPro Hero 9 during the practice sessions, that battery's probably lasting 35 minutes, right? Maybe 40 minutes. Whereas the Insta360, one time, just to test the battery out, because the only time I was really using it is during the practice sessions, and my practice sessions would follow the leader. That's when I would use it. That might be 20 minutes, you know, maybe a little more top. So I never ran the battery until it died to see how long it lasts. So I went on a ride and I put it on the engine guard and I just let it run. And it recorded for over an hour, which I was impressed with. But of course, I'm always going to recommend you have more than one battery, especially if you're doing something like Sturgis, where, you know, you might be out and you just want to keep recording. So I have three batteries for this Insta360 One, 2. So I'm going to say 3 or more. If, you know, depending on how you record, record. All right, that's a good question, Jamal. So, you know, I often tell people I don't ride in the rain. But what I mean by that is I don't ride in the rain intentionally. Sometimes you're out there and it starts raining and you have to do what you have to do. But as I was riding, and here's the thing, you know, I used to do the same thing. My philosophy on the whole riding in the rain thing is this. When I was a cop, unless I had to, I didn't pull people over in the rain either. And the reason I didn't pull people over in the rain is because my vision is compromised. It's the same way if I'm riding. So on top of that, yes, things are more slippery. You have to worry about oil on the road and stuff like that. So as it pertains to slow speed stuff, now we're going right back to what we were talking about before, what I was talking about in that video of how you don't have to lean your motorcycle at all to do a U-turn. So, can I still do an 18-foot U-turn in the rain? Yeah, of course I could. Will I? No. Because why take that risk? I don't know if there's a slick spot right there that probably wouldn't be there if it was raining, or even if it was there and it wasn't raining, I can see it. Can't, you know what I mean? Your vision's compromised. So my answer is to be as straight up as possible in everything that you're doing. I always recommend not to ride in the center of a lane, definitely not when it's raining. But remember, the roads are pitched. So once it rains and stuff starts to come up in the ground and then settle, you know, you want to be mindful of all of these things. But I know your question is really talking about slow speed. So the answer to that is try to be as straight up as possible. Better safe than sorry. Oh, hell yeah, Lenny. Of course. Lenny's question is, when you rode for the NYPD, did you ride in the winter months? Yeah, so Lenny, Times Square, New Year's Eve, every year, the Highway Patrol Motorcycle Unit is down there. And why are we down there? There's thousands of people in Times Square. So days before, they start putting out the barriers. And they cone those barriers off so that they're narrow. And the only thing that's really going to get through them are our motorcycles. So, you know, I remember, I forgot what year it was, but I felt so good because I think the temperature was like 35 degrees. That was perfect because, you know, at least it's not freezing. But, you know, the year before that or the year after that, I don't remember. Oh my God, it was freezing. Now, here's the funny thing, too. It's the ride to get down to Times Square. So Times Square is in Manhattan, and that's you know, the center of Manhattan of the city. And my base was in the Bronx, so not too much of a ride. But you had highway units coming from Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island. And that's a ride, especially coming over that bridge. And if it's already 30 degrees and you factor in the wind, and on top of the wind being created because you're rolling, you know, so, but yeah, the answer to your question is absolutely. And you just have to bundle up. That's when you'll see us wearing leather jackets when it's cold out. People put these things inside their gloves to try to keep their hands warm. That really doesn't work because your extremities are always the things that get cold. So yeah, my palms will be warm, but the tips of my fingers will be freezing. And here's the other thing. You're not going to see a lot of slow speed leaning and all that stuff. No, everything's going to be straight up because the gloves are so thick that, you know, you want to make sure you have a good handle feeling, I should say, of that clutch. And you just can't have that with really thick gloves. And, you know, believe it or not, that's one of the reasons why I don't wear gloves, because I like to be able to really have a good feeling for the clutch. And if I do wear gloves, they're not going to be very thick. So at the last practice session, it was so hot out there and humid. I remember my hands they were like sweating. And I said to myself, I had my gloves in my saddlebag. If this was at the end of the follow the leader, if we weren't at the end, I would have put those gloves on because now my grip is compromised because my hands were just too sweaty. Nothing I was doing was helping. I was holding my hands out. It was just hot. Now, one New Year's Eve, I remember we were so disappointed because we looked forward to that. We looked forward to riding down to Times Square and riding through the crowd, and you know, you hit the siren and everybody cheers. It's, you know, we missed that was always good. But one year it snowed the day before, and it stayed so cold that the road was icy. So they canceled the motorcycles, and we went down there in cars. And who the hell wants that? That sucked. We sat in the car and just sat there like this with attitude. A time and a half. You got it, Lenny. Jamal, where you from again? I forgot. Is that part of what video, Lenny? All right. That's a good question, Jamal. So, all right, listen. Um, Here's the thing about the tail of the dragon, and I got to tell you guys something after that. Uh, I've never ridden the dragon. I'm going to be riding it next month. I'll get back to that in a second. Oh, the cat noise. I don't even want to talk about this cat. This cat is, this cat's 22 years old. uh, so the tail of the dragon is nothing but a windy road, right? And if you ride it at the proper speed, right, there's no big deal, right? No big deal at all. So my answer to you is really nothing to be nervous about. So I don't even know what the speed limit is on that road. I don't know what the speed limit is on that road. I know it can't be that high, but whatever it is, stick to it. And don't be pressured to ride to keep up with somebody you're with, and don't be pressured because somebody's behind you. You ride at your own pace, not just on a dragon, anytime. Always ride at your own pace. So what I did want to tell you guys is so next month, I believe July 17th, all right, it's not concrete yet. Traveling Tall, if you guys haven't heard of him, he's organizing a group ride. This is going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee, of course, around where the dragon is. And he's inviting a bunch of content creators. Now, the only people I know for a fact that have confirmed that they're coming, at least to me. So it'll be me, Traveling Tall. It'll be Psycho Fanatics. It'll be Barbara CVO 19. And this is going to be not just for content creators, it's also going to be for viewers and subscribers. And we're going to meet up at Bootleggers, Harley Davidson, probably like 10 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, none of this is concrete yet. And we're going to go for a ride out there. Right. And I think that's going to be great. So I don't know, Jamal, I don't know how far, I forget where you're from. I don't know how far you are, but if you want to come out there and we'll ride the dragon, that'd be cool. Now, because we're doing this and it's not like this is just an invite, that's what it's going to be. We don't have any clue how many people are going to show up. So clearly, if 3 people show up, we could probably ride the dragon. If 300 people show up, not a good idea. But I am going to make sure I ride that dragon before I go back home because, it's like a bucket list thing. Maryland. Okay. I don't know how far that is for you. I know for me, it's about a 6-hour drive. And what I'm also thinking about doing is if we're doing this thing on Saturday, I'm thinking about doing a practice session on Sunday, someplace in Tennessee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to see if there's any people that are in Tennessee or close to Tennessee that are interested in that. And if they are, bam, I'll do that. If there's no interest in that, I'm headed back to Georgia. I'm trying to think that. Yeah, I don't know, Lenny. I don't know if you ever answered the question as far as how far are you leaning the motorcycle, and are you fully locking your handlebars? Okay, I figured you weren't locking the bars. How much do you think you're leaning? Okay. Lenny, how are you at exercise number 3? trust and believe? All right, so that's a good question, Jamal. Yes, the answer is yes. I have considered it, but at the end of the day, it's like it seems it's a lot. And right now, it's already a lot. Like I know I said it in the video and I say it all the time. I didn't work this much when I had a job, right? It's a lot. So what I do is do. But that's actually it's legitimate. What I do is I offer private lessons to people. And there's rates with that. I will travel to you for that, or you can come to me. Of course, it's always going to be cheaper for people to come to me than for me to go to them. But that's a good question because it's been asked a lot. But it would really take, because you have to think about it. If I have a practice session here, and it's free, and 3 people show up, not a big deal. If I have to travel someplace and only 3 people show up, like, you know what I mean? I want it to be worth it. Now, if 3 people show up and they're paying me, and I think that's what you're saying, to pay and register, yeah. So it would pretty much be the same thing. And that's the reason why I said I'm not going to do that. If people want to pay to have me come and do it, that's actually available. But it's not. That would be a private lesson thing. All right, Lenny, you say you still need to trust more. So are you doing trust and believe? That's the real question. Are you practicing that? Because trust and believe is very important. It's so important to because it's forcing you to trust and believe that as long as you have sufficient power going to that rear wheel, you're going to be all right. Right. And it's not an extreme thing either. It really isn't. But you feel that. And I want you to feel that because that's where the trust is going to come from. You have to actually feel like, uh-oh, and then go like that and everything's all right. And you keep doing that. Oh. And after a while, that's what your brain's going to tell you to do. You feel, just go like that. And when I say you have to practice that a lot, you really do. Because earlier when I said I was at a Lowe's parking lot practicing and I was on the limited and I had an moment. It wasn't a big one, but it was a small one. And for a quick moment, I almost felt like squeezing the clutch in. Here's another thing, and I noticed that when you're making turns, right, and you feel nervous, whenever we get nervous, we want to clench, right? Clenching usually means pulling your clutch in, and that's when the motorcycle falls. So every time I've dropped my motorcycle while I was practicing, that's what I did. I said, and I went like this. And if I'm already going slow and if I'm already leaned all the way, I don't have any room there's no margin for error in that instance. If you're not leaned as much, you have a little bit of margin. So at least if I do that, I can come right back out. So yeah, this is why you have to practice it. And that's why I want you to practice it in exercise number 3 when the motorcycle is straight up. Because if you can't trust and believe with the motorcycle straight up, there's no way you're going to trust and believe when it's leaning. Nervous about picking my foot up before moving. Okay. You know what, Jamal? And this is why I say there's 2 kinds of riders out there. Regular riders, preloaders, and as you go on practicing and learning these techniques and these skills, yeah, it changes your lens. And what I mean by that is you're going to look around and you're going to start seeing things so much differently and noticing people doing stuff that you probably did yourself too. And this is the good thing about being preloaders, because there's going to be certain times where you're actually going to say something to people. And that's why I said I think it was one of my U-turn videos, I said, just, when you do it, you have to make sure you pay attention to, how you say it and the inflection of your voice and all that other stuff, because how your face looks, because, some people don't like being correct it, not just in this, but in anything. But you're just trying to help. That's all you're trying to do. And when we know how to do something, some of us feel compelled to at least try to share that because that's paying it forward, right? So I get what you're saying. Left foot down, and I love seeing it too. You know, it's you can always tell. You can always tell. The three guys that you all right, so you were out with three other guys. Did you know the three guys? Well, you were with them, so I'm gonna assume you know them. I guess the other question is, are they preloaders? And if they are not, why? Why are they not preloaders? And what are they riding? I'm giving you a bunch of questions. And you know the funny thing too about this cat? There's no rhyme or reason for when she decides to just go crazy and start meowing to the top of her lungs. Because nothing happened and she just stopped.
She's a preloader.
Lenny, what are you talking about? Right now, Lenny, is you, Jamal, and my wife on here. So you're not taking up a lot of time at all. Don't worry about that.
And your sister-in-law.
And my sister-in-law. What are you talking about? Oh, I didn't see her. Mm-mm. I don't have her here. Yeah, and you know what, Jamal? Yes, you're gonna. That's just it's just the way it is. There are going to be some people out there, but here's the good thing. The good thing is, I get a lot of comments and emails. Usually, it's emails from people that say to me, "Man, I've been riding a motorcycle for however many years, and I thought I had it all figured out, and this has opened my eyes." That is a beautiful thing. It really is, particularly for the ones that ride two up. It's this people take this for granted. They really do, right? What we do is extremely dangerous, right? It really is. If you really sit down and think about it, we're balancing a motor vehicle on two wheels, and most of us don't ride slow. It's dangerous. So I just, why would you want to buy something that's very dangerous to begin with and then just learn a part of what you need to know about riding it? But everybody's different, and my hope is that people will come around, and this is why I try to push so much to let people know that this channel is not about dragging your floorboards and making tight turns. And if that's what you aspire to do, that's fine. But that's not what this channel is about. All right. If it helps you to get there, great. But it's just to raise your confidence so that when you slow down, you don't get that feeling. You know what I mean? I want you to enjoy the motorcycle at slow speeds and at faster speeds. And I'm just hoping that people get that. Oh, hi, Maria. Yeah, she's here. And they ride Harley Davidsons. Okay. And that's a personality thing, One of the worst things you can be in anything in life is somebody that thinks you have it all figured out. You know everything. I'm learning every day, and I'm not just talking about motorcycle stuff. Everything. I learn something new every day. Lenny, are the borders still closed in Canada? Because I've had a bunch of preloaders tell me as soon as those borders open up, bam, they're coming to Pooler, Georgia. You can always tell the real motorcycle riders, or even if they're trailering. Oh, the borders are open. Very good. Very good. All right. We will see what happens. It's only June. What's the temperature right now in Canada where you are, Lenny? Oh no, borders closed. Okay. What's the temperature there? Okay, 67 is not bad. And what was the high today? Like the high temperature? What's the temperature here now? It's 81 degrees. Is there a time difference in Canada?
Depends on where they are.
Live a mile away from Buffalo. Oh wow! So you're close. You could throw a rock, and you're you're in New York. Okay, but that's still wow. That's still long. That's very long to get to where I am. Are you on the 74? Okay. Did you ride today? $15 to Georgia. Okay. 15 hours to Pooler, Georgia? Because, it depends on what part of Georgia you're going to. Trying to convince the wife, huh? When are you visiting the relatives in Joeseph? And Jamal, again, I want to thank you for also supporting the channel through the purchase of the T-shirt and also letting me use the picture. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
I love it more.
Of course, the wife loves it more. I tell you, that's her baby. Don't know where Pooler, Georgia is. Okay, July 19th through the 24th. Okay. Oh man, we got to convince her. Well, what's the reason why she wouldn't want you to trailer the bike down? And Lenny, if you could do me a favor, I don't think you've done this before, but I'm not sure. It's possible that you have. Can you send me a video of you doing your U-turns? I just want to see I want to see what's going on over there in Canada. And Jamal, same thing. If you get a chance, let wifey record you doing it, or a buddy, or a tripod. Don't put the camera on the ground. She doesn't want me to put a trailer hitch and tow anything. Ah. Does she have a trailer hitch on the MDX? You know what? I just realized it doesn't even matter if she does. If she doesn't want it to happen, it's not going to happen. And I don't, I don't blame her. MDX is it's a nice vehicle. Oh, well. She just yelled at my phone. No. I mean, I pride myself on having the answer to these things, and I just don't because it's her vehicle. She's holding all the cards. Buffalo to Pula. My wife said 13 hours and 37 minutes. Oh, look at that. So it's actually less than 15 hours. Because you said you said he's a mile from there, right? You're a mile from the border. So yeah, that's not bad at all. Wait a minute. How's that even? So when I drive from New York to Pula, Georgia, that's like 11 hours. So it's only two more. It must be something with the highways and which way they're going or something, because New York meaning like upstate New York, not upstate New York, like no, even from the city, from the Bronx, New York, that drive for me was 11 hours. Oh, your wife rides too. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think your wife would rate herself? I had a VTX. I had an 1800. Does she have something like that? Does she have an 1800 or a 1300? And Jamal, I'm still curious about that question. 1300, okay. I still want to know if your wife has a hitch on that MDX. I'm just curious. Okay, at 1300. And do you guys ride together, Lenny? She doesn't. Okay, well then there's no way it's getting towed. She doesn't even have a hitch to tow it. So, oh well, that's the end of that. Unless you were talking about installing a towing package. Well, that's what I meant to say. Does it have a towing package? Because I know the hitches, those are two different things. Does it already have a towing package on it where you can put a hitch on it? Okay, so Lenny, when you're riding with her, are you screaming out preload and cover the rear brake? And is she looking at you like she doesn't know what you're talking about? Yeah, you wanted to have it installed. Oh, it's not going to happen, Jamal. Not going to happen. I'm not going to say never because never say never, but I seriously doubt it. Well, let me ask you this, Jamal. Do you have any experience towing anything? Because towing your M109 and a trailer is not like it's something that's very heavy. The MDX can definitely handle it. But if your wife knows you better than of course I do, if hey Joseph, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, but if she knows, if she goes, yeah, Jamal towing a trailer, he doesn't know anything about towing a trailer. If she doesn't feel confident that you know what you're doing, then that could be another reason too. I mean, I don't know. And Lenny, you said you explained it to her. Did you show her? Because a lot of this stuff that we're doing, if you just explain it to some people, it's like wah 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 wah. That's a Charlie Brown reference. They have to actually see it. And think about this: how many people, or how many times have I read somebody tell me that they've gone to MSF classes and they've watched a bunch of videos and none of them explained what I explained, and they just happened to get it. But again, I'm not tooting my own horn. This is the reason why I always tell people you have to have more than one source when you're trying to learn anything, because whatever somebody might be saying the exact same thing, but the way they deliver it, something clicks, right? Okay, you towed a water buffalo. What? With a 5-ton truck. Oh, wait a minute. She doesn't want to have to drive with a trailer. You mean she doesn't want to ride with a trailer, right? Because that takes care of the deal right there. She doesn't have to drive. You drive, right? If that's what the issue is. I don't know if I'm paying attention to the word drive. You mean drive or ride? Because I know when I'm driving with the queen's a passenger. And she can just, whatever I need, honey, need something to drink, need something to eat, and I'm just driving. She'll always offer. I'm never going to say yes. One time she offered me and I was driving like this. You okay, honey? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Oh, look at that. I still offer. Yeah, I know. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah. I mean, if I got to take out the 5-hour energy, I'll take out the 5-hour energy. It's like so you were a truck driver? Or clearly you were a truck driver, a 5-ton truck. All right. So the point is the whole thing about it being an issue, the whole thing about it being an issue of you towing, clearly that's not the point because I mean, a water buffalo. I thought it was a typo. Joseph, I didn't see a question from you. Yeah, there was never a question, Joseph. Just try it again. Oh, really? Everyone has to drive. Okay. So that answers the question. Gotcha. That makes sense. You train everybody and everything, and that way, if you need somebody to do something, you don't have to worry if they're trained or not. They got the training. Okay. All right. So that's. I feel like Jamal. That's a dead issue at this point. The wifey she's not allowing it. You know, we have to figure out something else. Oh, that's gonna suck for you to be. Well, you know what? Motorcycle or not, you know, if you're down here and you're near Pooler, Georgia, I'd still like to meet you. No, I still have a practice bike. I don't know how comfortable you feel about. Well, have you ever have you ridden a big bag of motorcycle before? And Joseph, again, I never got a question from you. So the M109 is the biggest bike you've ever ridden. Okay. Now I will tell you this though. I was just talking to my buddy about this 2 nights ago when he was looking at my practice motorcycle and he said, "Man, this motorcycle looks long." And of course, that's because the tour pack is on it, so it makes it look longer. As it pertains to the weight of the motorcycle, the M109, I think it was 700 and like 60 something pounds. So it's not that far off. But again, what do I always say? Not about the weight. If you can kind of handle that M109 at slow speeds, the Road King is just going to be easier for you anyway because you're kind of seated up more. It's you know what I mean. It's a very maneuverable motorcycle. Let's put it like that. Oh, that's excellent, Lenny. That's excellent. I can't believe that you don't have your wife already on this channel. I don't know what happens tonight to change that, but that's great. Because I mean, listen, there's nothing better than having two preloaders in the same house. When you guys go out and you go out and ride together, you're both going out thinking pretty much the same things. Preload and keep it loaded. You know, head and eyes, looking in the direction that you want to go, covering that rear brake when you need to. And that's important. You know, it's very important. So kudos. Kudos. I don't know what your wife's name is, but I'm going to say kudos for her. I'm going to assume she's not on YouTube. She doesn't have her own account. If she doesn't, she should, so she doesn't have to rely on yours. But if you guys watch it together, that's even better. Even better. You know, I sit down and watch it with my wife after the introduction. After the introduction of the practice sessions, my wife's like, "Okay, bye bye." She's interested, but she's not. She also doesn't ride though. But if your wife rides, oh yeah, she should be all in. What did I say? If we saw their products on your channel, is it worth a discount? Nah, I wish. I wish it was. Yeah, there's no if the ladies don't want to ride, my sister and I are perfect hosts. That's you know what? That's not a bad idea at all. Now there have been a few people that showed up to a practice session with their wife. And I mean, I gave kudos to the wife because they were there 3.5 hours. And the wife, either one time the wife stayed in the car, and with small child, and one wife went shopping. All right, so that's all. She was like, "All right, bye bye, have fun." So that's definitely good stuff. That support too. At the end of the day, pretty much anything that I'm doing is always a benefit to have my queen with me. So even if it's momentarily, I don't expect her to stay there with me the whole time. But I'm hoping that I'm putting the pressure on her now. I'm hoping that with the addition of Violet, she'll be encouraged to go out and ride a little bit more than 3 times a year.
Don't push your luck.
Exactly. Little Jamal. Oh yeah, 9-year-old little Jamal. Special shout out to little
Oh.
Jamal. Listen, it does not have to be motorcycle related at all. Remember, this channel is all about positivity, building each other up, helping each other out. This is a family, all right? The Preloaded Nation is a family. So, yes, not an issue at all. Big shout out to little Jamal.
Hi, little Jamal. Oh, he's so cute.
Now, Big Jamal still hasn't answered me about sending me a video of him practicing. Lenny put okay, so we'll see if I get that. Now, what would be an even better video is a video of Lenny and the wife practicing. Oh, that would be awesome. So I'm a video coming up soon. I'm gonna have a video. It's gonna be another VI preloader. I thought she was gonna be on here tonight. Miss Jenny, her and her husband Rob out there practicing. All right, I got a video of them practicing. And I'm gonna send that. I'm gonna put that in the video too. I love seeing that. Love seeing you guys out there practicing. And you guys don't know this, but when I watch these videos, I'm watching it like this. Very good. Good. Very good. Using that rear brake, head and eyes. Very good. I'm clapping. Yeah. And sometimes I'm going preload. But that's rare. It's very rare because anytime I see a video, it's usually everybody's always preloaded and they're keeping it loaded. And really, that's the best thing you could do. It's going to take care of a lot of other issues. Because again, the only reason the motorcycle is going to fall is if you don't have sufficient power going to the rear wheel. If you're preloading and you're keeping it loaded, remember where the clutch is, you're keeping it there, so you don't have to worry about that. You're good. All right, I don't know what happened to Joseph, but I never saw his question. And I wanted to kind of get to his question before I ended this. Yes. My wife said she has even gotten in on the clapping participation. It's hard to watch the practice sessions and not root for people, especially when you see they're steadfast and they're continually trying and they almost get something. Yeah, it's like a suspense show. It's good stuff. I don't know. I never got the question from him. Oh, here he is.
Did it go through now?
No, Joe, nothing came through. Yeah, I don't know. And Joe, you have to type it because if you're typing, did it go through now? And that's coming through. So that means the question should come through too. I don't know what's happening with that.
How is he sending?
I don't know. Yeah, however you type, did it go through now? That's how the question should be. Yes, I'm still on. Okay. Yeah. So I'm getting your messages, Joe, but I didn't get any question. Mr. Bill. Security Bill. No, Security Bill is not a guest tonight. But when the more that I do this, I am going to have some guest hosts. Thank you, Lenny. Yes, there's no other way to be as far as I'm concerned except positive. All right. Is April your wife? I will video myself in April. Now, I'm horrible with names, but I'm not going to forget your wife's name. That's very easy. April. I'm looking forward to that. And April. Hold up. Before you tell me that, before you tell me that, Lenny, did April approve this? And does April know? Well, I'm not going to say does April know. When you send me the video, do I have permission to use it in a video that I put out? And if the answer is no, that's fine. Because sometimes people send me stuff and they say this is just for your eyes, and that's fine. Or sometimes they say yes, you can share it. Okay, very good, very good. So I'm gonna tell you something now, Lenny. Now I'm looking forward to this video. And is April sitting there with you right now? I'm assuming she is. If she is, tell April I said, hi, April.
Hi, April.
Preload and keep it loaded. April, I want you to be the boss of your motorcycle. All right. That it's so important to be the boss of your motorcycle. Are you the boss of your motorcycle? I could be saying all of this stuff and she's already the boss. I don't know. All right, Lenny, I'm going to put some pressure on you now. Who's not a competition, but I just want your opinion. Who's closer to being the boss of their motorcycle in that house, you or April? She is now what? She the boss? I'm not talking about the boss of you. I'm talking about the boss of the motorcycle. Or are you saying she is? I don't know what he's saying. She is now about. Ah. How long did you say you've been riding, Lenny? Okay. So I want you to also know that when it comes to, oh yeah, you've been riding 48 years. So you've been riding way longer than your wife. Okay. I really don't look at those numbers too much.
Oh, Joeseph.
They are significant a little bit. All right, Joe, I see you got something there. I'll get to it. But we know just from looking at people's posts and emails and stuff that the amount of years that you've been riding, it's not that relevant when we talk about this skill. Because if you've been riding those years, all of those years, but never practicing these skills, then you know what I mean? You're a beginner in that aspect of riding. And that's why you can have somebody that's been riding 48 years like you and somebody that's been riding 3 months, but he's been practicing this and boom, he's going to be way better. That's the way it is with anything in life. All right, let's see. Joeseph. I asked, I have never seen any of your bikes. Oh, yes, Joe. And the question is, why don't you use apes on any of the bikes? And does it change the slow riding skills? All right, Joe, I'm sorry. Now, I do remember you sent me that question and it got lost somewhere. Because remember, I asked you guys to send me questions in advance to email them to me because that way it was easy for me to keep them together. And I think you sent yours through, I forget. It's so many. I'm sorry. It's so much Facebook and Instagram. And okay, so here's the answer to that, Joe. I'm dying to get some apes and I'm going to get some apes. So on the Street Glide, I'm going to put 10-inch apes on there. And on the Limited, I'm also going to put 10 apes on there. I don't want my hands above the fairing. And I've already seen that 10. Now, Traveling Tall, he has 10-inch bars on his motorcycle, and he's 6'5" or 6'6", something like that. I'm only 6'1". And at his height, if he can still make turns without his handlebars hitting his knees, no reason for me to go higher than 10 inches. So, and I am going to say to you that it's going to help the slow speed motorcycle operation. And I say that because one of the preloaders that came to a practice session number, I don't remember what number it was, but I believe his name was Mario, and he had a Street Glide, and he had 12-inch, I believe he had 12-inch apes on his motorcycle. And I took his motorcycle through the single serpentine and the U-turn, and oh my God, it just felt so good. And this was before I had my handlebars moved up a little bit. So my motorcycle, even now with the handlebars moved up, I still feel the tip of the front brake lever and the clutch lever just touching my leg a little bit. So raising them up is even higher. When I got on Wood Jr.'s motorcycle, now he's got 16-inch apes. That still felt better than my motorcycle because it's so freeing. I felt so free to be able to do what I want. Right now, whenever I make a turn, I have to always be conscious of making sure my legs are in a position where they're not going to get hit by the handlebars. Always. Like that's where I am now. And I want to be able to just be free and not have to think about that. And that's what those apes are going to do. So my answer is absolutely. But here's what I'm going to say to you. So I've been looking at different handlebars. And yes, the height is important, but you also want to look at the width of the handlebars because, and the way you want to judge that is turn the handlebars all the way to the right and then see if you can comfortably squeeze in your clutch. If it's so far that you can't reach it, you either got to pull those handlebars back toward you, get handlebars that are closer together, or get handlebars that are lower. Right, one of the three. You got to kind of play around with that because it does you no good to have handlebars that are so high and so far ahead that when you turn, you can't reach it. Now, if you can scoot up on your seat and reach it comfortably, then that's fine because scooting up on your seat actually helps you anyway. All right. So all of these things depend. But the answer to your question is yes, they're coming. I've been kind of dragging my feet with that. But like with this limited, I'm going to do it quicker than I did with the Street Glide. Yes, Lenny, I know. So when you say bad habits, Lenny, what habits are you speaking about aside from grabbing the front brake at slow speeds? Oh, my wife, you didn't know that, honey? Yeah, I guess I didn't talk about it that much. No, believe it or not, Jamal, the ape hangers are not normally for taller riders. Because remember, ape hangers come in all different heights. You know, those stock handlebars, they kind of come towards you or whatever. But the ape handlebars can kind of come up more. So they start, I think, at 8 inches. You know, it's just a different feel rather than the handlebars. Right now, the Harley Davidson handlebars have your hands like this, where the apes can kind of put your hands like this. You know, that might and it may feel a little more comfortable. So because it's different heights, is for different height riders as well. You know, riders of different heights, I should say. Um, but like I always say to people, make sure you do that test. Turn the handlebars because you want to be able to be in control to be able to reach everything with the handlebars turned. Clutch this way, front brake this way. Clutch is more important because if you're fully locking your handlebars, you're going slow. You're never going to be going fast and fully lock your handlebars. So, with that being said, the left turns not too much of a big deal. Not being able to reach the front brake because you're going at speed. Slow speeds, yeah. So that's why I always tell people turn the handlebars all the way to the right to test them. Lenny, I'm 49 years old. I just turned 49 in February. What happened, Joseph? Said he has no clue what's going on. What happened? Okay. All right. So your bad habits, Lenny, are just basically talking about the braking, and that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you weren't going to say one of your bad habits is, if you feel like you're going to fall, you put your foot down. Because I'll correct people all the time. That's not a bad habit. That's an instinct, and it's just it's something that you have to overcome, and that comes with practice. And that's why you'll hear me say in my practice sessions, I love it when I see somebody fight that battle and they win it. I see them get ready to put their foot down and then they pick it back up because they just let the clutch out. Joe, tell me what's going on. You have no clue what's going on. Okay. So again, Lenny, that's not a bad habit. It's an instinct. And the more you practice, this is where practice. This is where exercise number 3 comes in. Trust and believe. All right. Exercise number 2 and exercise number 3, very important. All right. 2, you're moving very slowly. And every time you feel like you need to put your foot down, just open up the clutch. You're already preloaded. So that's why 2 is important in getting you to trust and believe. And then 3, same thing, but now you're not moving. Very important stuff. I want to see what's happening with Joe. I don't know if Joe's maybe he's having technical difficulties on his end. I don't know if it's sometimes it's an internet thing. All right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Joe, a few more minutes to see if he's still on, and if he's having some technical difficulties. I hope he heard my answer. If he didn't, this video is going to go out anyway, so he'll be able to see it. But I'm probably going to wrap this up in a few minutes. Oh, come on, Lenny. So Lenny said, and I've heard a few people say this, he's not worried about getting hurt. He's more worried about damage to the bike. Oh, you don't have any saddlebag guards. Okay. So the next question, Lenny. All right, now we're gonna go longer now, which is not an issue. My next question is, it's so funny you should say that, Lenny, because last night, or I should say this morning, because I was in my garage recording a video until 2:00 in the morning, and the video I was recording was putting saddlebag guards on my practice bike. And in that video, I discuss saddlebag guards and why some people don't have them. So my question for you is, why don't you have saddlebag guards? Okay, good. I'm so happy to hear that the only reason that you don't have them is because you can't find them. Now, yes, there is a backup because I ordered my saddlebag guards and it took over a month for me to get them. So I would say if it's back ordered, you can still order them. So at least they'll be on their way. So let's get on top of that. Let's get some saddlebag guards on there because I don't want. Yeah, you remember when I said about the handlebars? As I'm making my turns, I have to have in my mind to concentrate on not hitting my legs with the handlebars, and I don't want that. This is not the same thing, but it's similar. So now, instead of you being able to just concentrate on practicing, you're distracted by damaging your motorcycle if it falls. Whereas if you get saddlebag guards, right? Once you get the saddlebag guards, then you can put some motorcycle drop guards on there, and now you don't have to worry at all about anything being damaged. But at the least, if you drop your motorcycle with the guards on, the engine guard and the saddlebag guards, nothing else is going to get damaged, and the only damage is going to be to the underside of your engine guard and your saddlebag guards, which is right now, if you were standing right in front of my CVO, the Street Glide, and you did a once around, I've dropped that motorcycle 5 times. You're not going to see anything because it's on the underside of the engine guard and the saddlebag guard. And if anything happened where I said, you know what, I don't, it's bothering me that I know there's scratches under there, I want to change it. It's a lot less expensive to change that than to try to do something with your saddlebags. So Jamal, it's funny you should mention that. I don't know if you noticed that my boy Kevin, who rides an M109, he's got saddlebags on it. So they definitely make saddlebags for it, and it comes in handy. Now he bought the motorcycle like that, so he doesn't know anything about not having them. And most people that have M109s that I've seen don't have the saddlebags. But yeah, of course that definitely helps. But yeah, you're right. I remember the days of guys riding motorcycles with the book bag on and a magnetic tank on the bag. All right, you got to do what you got to do. So Lenny, yes, if it's possible, not if it's possible, if you can order these saddlebags, even if they're back ordered, you should be able to order them. So I would definitely do that. And if it takes a month, at least a month from now, you'll have them. But guys, I'm going to be putting that video out pretty soon. I got a bunch of videos coming out with all kind of different things. There's product reviews, there's some instructional stuff, and of course practice videos. So a lot of stuff coming out. All right, guys, I don't know what happened to Joe. I'm going to assume he was having some technical difficulties, but I'm gonna wrap this up. If you guys have anything else you want to say to me, shoot it to me now. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. All right, and we're definitely going to do this again, and hopefully we'll have some more V.I.Preloaders join us. Look at the pretty wife in the background. My pleasure, Lenny. My pleasure. Jamal, you good? Oh, did you see that, Mrs. Simmons?
No.
Jamal says, can we get some Preloader Nation shirts?
I'll work on it.
She says she'll work on it. And let me tell you, I told you guys before, all you have to do is say something to her and it starts. She's already starts going. So, all right, guys. So I appreciate your time. I knew there was no way in the hell I was going to only do this for an hour. So, but good stuff. And if you guys know, you watch my videos, I can talk. So I could be on this all night. But I appreciate you guys. And again, I want to thank you for your support. And, stay tuned. I'm going to keep churning them out. As long as you guys are continually watching them. I want to thank the pretty wife.
Thank you, guys. Say hi to the wives.
Lenny, how can I not be positive all the time? And that's my wife, right? All right, Jamal, you too, buddy. And everybody else, take care. And as I always say, spend more time being thankful for the things that you have and less time complaining about the things that you don't. Till next time, guys.